Hello. Welcome to all of you. Okay, that works. That works. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, for today, we are definitely doing another live session that would help you prepare both for paper two, which is comprehension. Today, we'll be covering basically grammar questions and vocabulary questions. At the same time, I would love to do oral practices with you today, just because, most importantly, you will have to face your very first hurdle for PSLE and O level will be your oral examination. At the same time, those of you who are not taking your national exams this year, your end of year exams is also looming. So you would also have to face your oral examination as well. So yes, welcome everyone. Hello. Welcome to the live session. This is Teacher Mitsuko. One very quick good news for all of you today. Right as a Work is running a promotion for our regular programs. It's a very good time for you to join us to really get that final revision boost that you need before your examination. So if you sign up for 12 lessons with us, you will actually get 2 additional lessons for free. That's about $400 of savings, and a very good investment for your final revision, last lap revision before end of year examination. So low battery, no charging. Eh? Where is the charger of this laptop so we can actually charge it? Give me a moment. I can perhaps find it. Hold on a second. Here you go. Okay, here we go. Hold on now. I am trying to handle this myself. I'm trying to be strong. Okay, is it charging now? Give me a second. Okay, we are in perfect condition, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, everyone. Welcome. Are we all in? Okay, that's perfect. I am still very much used to seeing myself right here in my phone. I don't know why. So let's give that one a try. Hold on a second. 1 second, people. So people are in. Can hear me? Okay, can hear me. Let's see. How do I look in the screen? Oh, I also look like this. Perfect. Okay, this is good. Okay, everyone. Let me see here as well. It's charging. Okay, everyone. We will be.
For this thing, you can click something like to change
the filter. Can. Oh, I like the duck. Yeah, search the duck. Oh, this is my favorite. Okay. All right, everyone, let's start. So do know that Writers Work is currently running a 12+2 promotion for our regular programs. If you want to spend your revision time in a very targeted and effective way, feel free to join us here at Writers Work. We have a comprehensive English program for all primary and secondary levels. And for upper primary, we also have a pure composition writing program. So you look at it here. We are running this promotion. Enroll now and get 2 free lessons so that we can help you for your last lap revision just before your examinations. Yes. Welcome, people. Now, everyone, let's go through a few grammar questions. So let's try to make this live session a bit more comprehensive in a sense. Let's cover vocab, let's cover grammar, let's cover oral as well. Are you all ready, people of the world? Yes? Now let's give it a try. Let's do a few grammar questions. Are you ready to try? Let's see, people. First question is, now here we go. Ahmad blank bicycle has been stolen is making a police report. What do you think is the answer for this one, ladies and gentlemen? Hello, let's go. Anyone who wants to give this one a try? Okay, let me figure out the positioning very slightly as ever. Anyone wants to give this number a try? Ahmad blank bicycle has been stolen is making a police report. We are basically talking about the bicycle's connection to Ahmad. So I'll give you a clue right here. This one. What do you think is the answer? Welcome to those of you who just joined. Hello. I'll give you about, let's say, 10-15 seconds. And then let's see if you all have the answer to my question. Give it a try. I really feel like the camera has to be moved up a bit so my entire face is not in the comment section. Okay. While waiting for all of you to respond, you can actually, I can just give it a try first and go through with you. But I'm going to adjust the camera very slightly to just kind of like move it up a bit. Move it up slightly and then zoom it ever so slightly as well. Let me see now. Okay. I think that may have slightly worked. Jason, are you there, Jason? Okay. Now, everyone, let's give this one a try. Okay. So, no one wants to give this a try, is it? Okay, let's go. So we're looking for the words that would basically help us say that Ahmad is the one who owns the bike. What is the word that we need here? It would be, do we say Ahmad who bicycle, or Ahmad whom bicycle has been stolen, or Ahmad which bicycle, or whose bicycle? The one that tells us about the possession is number 4. Okay. Possessive pronoun. That's number 4. Okay, good job, people. If you had that answer in mind, congratulations to you. Okay, now let's proceed to number 2. My mother scolded my brother and blank for making a mess. Who wants to give this one a try? Let's try. My mother scolded. So this is actually the classic confusion among students. They don't know when to use I or when to use me. And I'll tell you 2 techniques, 2 things that you can always remember to try and do if you are confused whether to use I or me. Give it a try. I'll share it with you in a moment, people. I'll share it with you in a moment. I'm trying to move things around first very quickly so I can see all your comments and so on. Okay, now my mother scolded my brother. The first step that you can do, ladies and gentlemen, is to cancel cancel the other person. What do I mean by this? You can, my mother scolded my brother and, so cancel my brother and, how do you say it then? My mother scolded me or my mother scolded I? Now it makes sense, right? So that's the first thing. My mother scolded me, of course. That's how you get the answer to number 2. Okay. Now, everyone, if, for example, you're still unsure, like, sure, I already canceled the other person and I'm still unsure whether it's I or me, there's a second thing that you can do. The second thing you can do is ask yourself, am I the doer of the action? If the answer is yes, you are supposed to use I. Okay? If it's yes, if it's no, me. You know why? I should be for when you are the subject, and when you are the subject, you're the doer of the main action. Me is when you are an object, as in you are the receiver of the action. Now, what's the action scolded? Who's doing the scolding? Is it you or your mom? It's your mom. It's not you. Therefore, the answer is me. Okay? Number 2. Right? We're clear with that? All right. So I think we're clear with that. Let's proceed to the next number. Sarah works at this school, blank she. How about this one? Who wants to give this one a try? Okay. Everyone. Wow, 63 people in the live. Thank you so much for coming into that, everyone. Okay. Now, Sarah works at the school, blank she. this question commonly tested is a question tag type of question, correct? Okay. Now, those of you who are here, welcome to the live. Feel free to drop in your answers if you want to try and practice your English. Thank you. Now, Shadow works at this school. I think you remember the classic rule for question tag. If the statement is positive, the question tag is negative, and then vice versa. Okay, so Sarah works at this school. That's the statement. How do we know if it's positive or negative? Just look for the negative word if it exists or not. So negative words that would turn the statement negative would be never, not, seldom, rarely, barely, hardly, right? But you don't see that in the statement here. So that would mean to say that, for example, this is positive. Okay, so how do we turn this into negative, right? Because it's positive, negative, negative, positive. It's works. Sarah works. When you talk about action verbs for question tag your options would be do, does, did. So did cannot, because works is in present tense, so did is not. It is in singular form, so it's does. Okay, then how do you turn does into negative? You just add the word not. Doesn't. So the answer is number 4. Did you get it correctly? Okay. All right, everyone. Are we ready to proceed to number 4? Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Number 4, Billy blank visiting his uncle in Germany in 2 weeks' time. Okay. Now, this is a very classic question on tense. Okay, you are being tested in tense. Anyone who wants to give this one a try, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now you are being tested in tense. So first things first, Billy is doing a visiting. It's gonna happen in 2 weeks' time. Okay, in 2 weeks' time. So number 1, it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened yet. So obviously, if it's in 2 weeks' time, we can cancel was and were. It's definitely not past tense because it hasn't happened yet. It's happening in the future. Now we're left with is and are. So if you notice here, this is continuous. It's an ongoing thing. And Billy is singular, correct? So obviously our answer is number 1. All right, good job, people. Good job, good job, good job. Let's go. Now, number 5, everyone, who wants to give this one a try? 1/5 of the camp participants blank in the hall last night. How about this one? So first things first, you are being tested on subject-verb agreement, whether you know to use, if you should be using singular or plural, plus tense. Now, the very first challenge for you is, am I supposed to use singular or plural? Because sure, it's so easy to figure out the tense because it says last night. So I know I should be using past tense. So I can already cancel is sleeping and are sleeping, sure. But now my struggle is, am I supposed to use was or were? So now let's talk about subject-verb agreement, okay? Because you have here 1/5. What if they give you fractions, right? One thing I can remind you is that when there are fractions, okay, you can take note of this because you never know. This might actually come out in your examinations. Fractions and percentages. Keep in mind, follow the noun they are modifying. So just check the noun that they are modifying. Hello, Joyce. Welcome to you. Welcome to you, Joyce. Feel free to drop in your answers as we go through and learn more grammar and vocab questions. Now, When it is using fractions and percentages, you have to look at the noun they're modifying, which is participants, correct? And then participants is using plural. Therefore, you also use plural. So we've figured out our subject-verb agreements. So the answer would be, I think obviously we already know, it's number 4. We're sleeping. Okay, what are you doing? Hi Joyce. Currently I am going through some English paper 2 grammar and vocabulary questions. Later I'll be going through oral questions, mainly to help students or those who are no longer students improve in their English. If you are a primary 6 or primary 5 students preparing for PSLE examination, this would be very good for you for revision. Even secondary students can tune in to continue brushing up your skills as you go along in your English learning journey. Okay, everyone, so we figured out the answer. This one is number 4. You all want to give this one a try for number 6? Let's try. So we have a new question here. If you want, try to answer this. My friend blanked me letters every week since she left for Australia 2 years ago. Very interesting. You are once again being tested on tense here. One thing you can do, okay, Joyce, you try for number 3, is sending me letters every week since she has left for Australia. Okay, now let's talk about wait for. Okay, you want to reconsider and do number 4 instead. I see. Okay, one thing we can assure here is that since she left for Australia 2 years ago and every week, these two things tells us that the sending of the letters started in the past, and it's ongoing in the present. Now, what that tells us, when the action is it's explicitly indicated, right? It started in the past and it's ongoing in the present. We are doing what tense? Present perfect. That's your has and have. Present perfect. So that means to say, Joyce, congratulations for reconsidering your answer. You are right. It is number 4. Has been sending. Right. There we go. There we go. Good job. Good job. Now let's move on to number 7, ladies and gentlemen. Now share the live. Thank you for sharing the live, Kate. Thank you. Now number 7. There was blank Mary could do to stop the boys from quarreling, so she ran to look for help. Ooh, interesting. Now, we are basically referring to the word do. So how do you try to complete this sentence? There was few Mary could do. There was little Mary could do. There was much Mary could do. There was some Mary could do. Okay, give this one a try and let's see if you want to answer this question. About 10 seconds, everyone. Hello, hello to those of you who just joined the live session. Welcome. Now, let's give this one a try. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now, contextually, she went to ask for help. So that means to say, are we looking for a huge amount of something or a low amount of something? There's probably a low amount of things that she could do because she wouldn't have to go and ask for help. So contextually, much cannot, because it goes against the context that we're trying to go for. Some also. We're left with few and little. Do is uncountable. So the answer is number 2. There was little Mary could do. Okay? All right. Now let's move on to number 8. John is neat and tidy. Blank his sister is messy. What do you think is the answer? Now, the thing about this question is, you are basically talking about a comparison. You're comparing. Only one of the words in the options does a very good comparison. Thank you for sharing the live. Thank you very much. Okay. Only one of these can talk about a proper comparison. About 15 seconds. Let's give it a try. Do we have a brave soul there anywhere who wants to drop in the answer? Let's go, people. Now, so the comparison happens between John, so he's neat and tidy, and then sister is messy. Now, when you do a comparison like that, the word that you need to use to connect these two is number 4, whereas. Correct. All right. I hope you got that answer correctly, people. Now, let's move on to number 9. Samuel searched blank his stack of worksheets to look for his English homework. Now, you are basically kind of like putting together a phrasal verb. What do you think is the right word to pair search with to talk about Samuel looking for a worksheets? There's like a stack, right? And then he was like going through it. What do you think is the right preposition to pair this with? Right, everyone? Now. Okay. I think we all get the correct answer. For this case, the correct answer is searched through, which is number 4. Okay? All right. Everyone, last number for this question. Let's end strong. We are in the very last number, people, of our grammar questions MCQ. Let's be strong. And this is an easy one. So give this one a try and see if you can actually get the answer. Let's go. Let's go. Give it a try, people. Anyone who wants, do you have a brave soul who wants to try this out, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to give you guys about 15 seconds, and then let's see if you can spot the right answer. Maybe about 5 more seconds. All right. Holding the worksheet in his hand, my teacher said blank types of questions are challenging. Okay. Now, this, that, these, and those. Okay. The first thing that we need to look at is, firstly, she's holding the worksheet. He's holding, sorry, it's he, because it's his, okay? Firstly, he's holding the worksheet. That means the item is near. So, we can cancel that and those. Because this one, far, okay? The next thing we need to figure out is whether this is plural or singular, because this, with the I, is for singular, and these would be for plural, okay? Holding the worksheet in his hand, the teacher said, blank types of questions are challenging. Now, we refer to the types, okay? He's talking about types, many types. So, obviously, the answer would be, anyone? Yes, you guessed it right. It would be number 3, these types of questions. Well done, well done. Now, we are going to proceed to a few vocabulary questions before I move on to doing an oral practice with all of you, which is something very good to continue nourishing your brain on content knowledge about things that are always being talked about in our society nowadays. So helpful for both students and non-students alike. Okay? Now, I'm going to go and jump to a different paper for our vocabulary question. Okay? Let me give it a check and see if I can give you roadside. 1 second. Hold on. Let's do this and then this. And then try this one out. Okay? So ready for a few vocabulary questions, everyone? Let's do some vocab questions right here. All right, let's go. Number 1. Due to the Formula 1 race, traffic in the city area had to be blank. Now, the word we're looking for is that there's Formula One race. They need to close off some of the roads. You know that. And so those cars who usually take that road has to be blank. That means to say they need to change direction or route. And what do you think is the right word to use for that meaning that we intended? Okay, give it a try. All right, everyone. Are you all ready? Do we have a brave soul who wants to try this number? Anyone? Okay, I'm gonna do something for you. So to make it much easier for you, I'll define the words one by one, and then maybe you can also give me the answer after knowing the definition. Mianbao, hello. Oh, Justin is here. And Mianbao is okay. Then we have answers from both of you, and both of you are agreeing to each other. Now, you're both going for diverted. Did they actually divert? You are correct. Yes. The answer is diverted because when you divert the traffic, that basically means you change their direction or their route. Now, can we say they adjusted it? Yeah, I mean, I'm still in mourning. What do you mean, Mianbao? What happened? Don't scare me, huh? Mourning over what? So adjustment would mean minor changes or adaptation, not usually used in the context of traffic. Okay, that one I can tell you at least. Oh, so sad. I know. We would all be mourning also, huh? Here, Yan Bao, because he's here for only a short time because of course he needs to pursue he's moving up in his academic career. So we have to let him go. Okay? It's fine, Yan Bao. It's fine. It's for the best, like when it's for Yahweh's future. I know. So interrupted. Did they interrupt the traffic? They did, but it does not convey redirection. Okay, we're looking for does not convey redirection. So Yahweh said bye bye to you already, ha. Oh, so cute. We have Lady Gaga just joined the live session. And intercepted, is intercepted the correct answer? When you intercept something, you obstruct it, right? Obstruct, like, sure, can't that be the answer, or interrupt it? The thing about the word intercepted is that you can use it for sports, in the context of sports, military, or crime, or tech, but not for traffic. Okay, so the answer, you're correct, Mian Bao and Justin, it's number 1. Okay, let's move on to number 12. The tsunami left behind a trail of blank in the villages. Many homes were reduced to rubble. What a sad thing. Now, the tsunami left behind a trail of what? Okay, now one thing you should be paying attention to is that this is a detail that you should pay attention. Homes were reduced to rubble. That would mean to say, if you can imagine it actually in your head, you would perhaps actually take a hint on what is left behind by the tsunami. Anyone wants to give this a try? I'll give you about 10 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you who are here, and welcome to those of you who actually just joined live. Hello, everyone. If you're new here, please remember to follow us or share the live with your friends. Okay, now let's define the words. First, wastage. Did the tsunami left behind a trail of wastage? Okay, wastage basically refers to the amount, of something wasted, and so that the entire amount is the wastage. Okay, but we're talking about the damage being left. So the thing is, like, wastage cannot, because why? It does not describe damage left. Okay, now how about fragments? Do we say the tsunami left behind a trail of fragments. Fragments, I think you're all familiar. It's like small parts broken off, okay? Small parts broken off from something larger, okay? Now, while there could be fragments, of course, after a tsunami, it does not, the thing about fragments is it does not capture the overall like devastation left by the tsunami. Mhm. Overall devastation. Okay, so also not the best word to use here. Okay, how about demolition? You know, when they demolish a house, they demolish a place, they basically destroy it deliberately. Okay, now destroy, let me change the color so it's much easier for you to see. Destroy something deliberately. Now, sure, then this can be the answer, no? Because the tsunami actually destroyed the whole place. Now, demolition, because of its very specific meaning about destroying something deliberately, you don't actually use it in the context of natural disaster. Okay? So, this one not accepted. Like, not wrong context. So basically, you don't humans demolish it because there's implication of when you use the word demolition, there's an implication of deliberate decision making to actually deliberately destroy something. That's why it's mostly used in the context of humans, authorities, or institutions deciding to do the demolition. Okay. Now that would mean to say we are left with the correct answer, which is number 4. Left a trail of destruction. From the word itself, I think it's pretty straightforward. When you use the word destruction, it will talk about the overall devastation, damage left by the tsunami. Okay, so the answer is number 4. Okay, everyone. Okay, now let's move on to number 13. Now, welcome to those of you who just joined the live. I'm Teacher Mitsuko. I'm currently going through vocabulary questions. Let's improve our vocabulary skills together. After this, I'm going to go through some topics that we can consider and brainstorm for oral questions. Okay. Now, we had a memorable blank at the school camp. Our tent collapsed in the rain and we had fun scrambling to find shelter. Okay. We had a memorable blank at the school camp. Our tent collapsed in the rain. What do you think is the right word here? I think this one is pretty straightforward and easy, right? Anyone who wants to give this one a try? Let's go, people. Try this one out and see if you'd like to answer. If you're unsure, it's perfectly fine. Safe place for you to give this one a try. Okay. Now, let's define the words. I think memorable, okay, and they had a school camp. Okay, so, and then they also have an explanation as to what exactly happened. Now, can we say they had a memorable recount? Okay, recount is the act of describing. You describe how something happened. Now, we are not describing how something happened. We are talking about what exactly happened. So, not the right word. Anecdote is a short or amusing. Okay, anecdotes are short, amusing, or interesting story. Now, anecdote in itself usually focuses on the storytelling aspect instead of the event itself, so not the answer. The correct one is number 4. Okay, memorable experience. Okay. Number 14, everyone. Let's give this one a try. Let's go. The young athlete was found guilty of drug abuse and was blank of his gold medal. Okay, sad news, but remember we're checking the grammatical structure of this one. Let's go, people. What do you think is the answer for this number? I will give you about 10 seconds. Let's give this one a try. Anyone? Let's go, everyone. I'll wait for you a bit. Okay. Oh. It's raining outside. Is it also raining on your end there, people? Now, guilty of drug abuse. I see. So what happened to his gold medal? Of course, because he did something wrong, it will be taken away from him, right? But what is the right word for it? Let's define some of the words and then you decide what you think is the right answer, okay? When something is waived, it's basically voluntarily like giving up something, voluntary give up or relinquish. Now, what, not the word, is this one, this is the one we're looking for. Is there an implication? Hello, yummy food, 123. Is there an implication that the young athlete surrendered it himself, right? Stripped off is basically about officially take away or revoke something. So especially for like title, in the context of title, honor, or award. Declined is, of course, you reject. And then disposed is throw away. Now, from these definitions, yummy foods, what do you think is the right answer? Do you want to stick with number 4? Oh, very good. Yes. The correct answer is number 2. When something is officially taken away from someone, especially when it comes to titles, awards, the official term for that is it's stripped off. Okay, stripped of his whatever it is that he has, of his what you can also say he was stripped of his what do you call this, like prefect role, something like that. Okay, now let's move on to number 15. Sam and Jody blank with each other during their discussion because they had a disagreement. Now, what we are looking for here is the right phrasal verbs. You're being given phrasal verbs options here. We're looking for the phrasal verbs because you see, Sam and Jody had a disagreement. So what do you think basically happened in their relationship? Princess. Hello, Princess. Princess goes for fell out, quarreled. I see both of you and yummy food agrees with each other. Okay. Now, did they have a fallout? You are both correct. Well done. Because having a fallout, that means to say you have an argument or a disagreement that ends a relationship. So it's a sad word to have, but you vocabulary wise, you're both correct. Now, why can't we use get by? Get by is positive. If you're getting by, that means to say, I mean, not very positive now, but getting by means you're managing. Did they manage? No. The relationship was not in good condition. But isn't that American and not Queen's English? Fallout? You mean the actual term, is it? Most likely, I don't see a lot. Do you actually notice a lot of difference in phrasal verbs in terms of American and British English, Princess? That is interesting. I can look that up. But given that this one is being used in an actual MOE school, it's Americanized. Very interesting. I'm going to look at that, Princess, because at the moment, right, what I'm very particular with, especially with American and British English, is the spelling. I do know that there are some vocabulary words. One thing that they're very particular of is for examinations, number 1, Princess. Degree in UK. Oh, good response. But Princess, that's a very good point to raise. So one thing I've actually noticed is examinations wise, one thing I always tell my students is it's important that they are consistent with their answers. But for paper 2, for example, it's very important they stick with British English. But more often than not, when it's in the vocabulary section, the moment they choose it as one of their options, then at least the choice for the students to use is not on the students, but it's on them for them to choose the answers. Vocabulary wise, it should be fine because they should have a definition for it and they will give words that are familiar to the students, at least vocabulary wise. But the main differences I would say would be in, what do you call this? There are spellings, of course, that are very much different. Vocabulary should be okay. Mhm. Mhm. Now, we are basically done with our vocabulary questions, ladies and gentlemen. So what I'm going to do now is we proceed to talk about some very commonly tested oral questions or oral themes, I would say. And then let's explore different questions about them. So at least you all can practice. Continue your content knowledge building on these themes. Today, I would like to talk about sports and recreation. But before that, to those of you who are very new here, please do know that Rights as a Work, we are currently running a promotion since you're all preparing for examinations. We are running a promotion wherein if you sign up for 12 lessons, you can get 2 free lessons. That's over $400 of savings. We will definitely help you with your preparation exam wise, and at the same time continue a very strategic revision for your English as well. Okay, now, oh wow, that's interesting to know, Yummy Food, that you specialize in English language and linguistics. Wow, pretty cool. Happy to have you here today. Now, yeah, I share with you the promotion, but for now, let's actually do a few discussions. For today, wish you good day. Princess, thank you so much. Okay, now for today, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about sports and recreation as our main theme. This is an evergreen theme because technically, students, I foresee us always finding a way to entertain ourselves in using recreational activities. One of them could be a big umbrella in sports as well. So let's talk about this. Let's build our content knowledge in this, and at the same time, brainstorm angles. What are the different angles you can look at when you are asked these types of questions? Okay. Now, what if, everyone, I ask you this question? Let's say I don't want to do this theme. I want to do sports. Now, let's try this question first. Describe your favorite sport and why. Okay. You can try. Everyone, drop in your favorite sport and actually share it with me. I think the most crucial part of this is the very sport that you are going to share. It's very important that you share something that you can really detail out. Now, sure, do I need to be good at that sport? Not exactly. It's just asking you what your favorite sport is. Does it matter if you're good? No. You just have to find a sport that you can play, and so you can detail out your experiences about it. Okay. Now, so that means to say you don't need to be an actual professional athlete to be able to do this. Okay. Now, let's talk about all the sports that you can actually do. So, for example, for me, if I were to answer this question, I'd probably go for a sport that I actually really know, which is swimming. Okay. Some of you may go for badminton or like ball sports like basketball. Or maybe you can go for soccer, okay, or football. Or badminton, tennis. Okay, so there's two things here, the sport and the why. That means to say, the moment the answers for why, you have to give your reason. And that is why your knowledge on this sport is very important. Now, why would then go for a few things? Which angles can you go for when you want to say, oh, I really love swimming? So why, that means to say, for me, whenever you give reasons, I always like the rule of three. Okay, so this is a technique I'm going to teach you today. Go for the rule of three. Like, just give three things. It's a very good thing because the number three, it's easy to follow because there's only three. It's not too many, but it's also not too few, right? So the rule of three, I like to stick to that. I like to give three very solid answers, okay? So let's say, okay, I'm going to pursue swimming. That means to say, if I were to answer this in a peel format, let's say point, elaboration, my point would be I will then talk about, hey, my favorite sports that I really love to do, I've always been doing it, is swimming. Okay. Then the second E is then the reason. So I decided I'm gonna give three reasons for it. I remember teacher Mitsuko gave me the technique of the rule of threes. So when I give my reason, I would probably start with the health benefits of the sport. Okay. The health benefit. So I can go on and say, firstly, I really appreciate the health benefit of this sport because it does that the range of movements you do as a swimmer actually exercises the entire parts of your body. So it moves a lot of your body, and at the same time, it helps you with endurance. Okay. So that's the first thing, then you can detail it out. Okay. Now, we have zoomed in on the health part. Now, what else can we actually look at for the second one? Okay, what I can do then is, aside from health, is there anything else you can try? While swimming, you can swim on your own. When you practice it, it actually can also be a team sport because you can be training and playing with a team. So you can talk about the bond that you get with your team. And at the same time, it can also be with yourself. Why? There is a certain level of there's a zen feeling that you get when you're swimming. It's cause technically, even if you do like the team one wherein you do a relay, right? You are swimming on your own. When you're training, it's very quiet. You hear the water, you do the movement constantly. There is that very good feeling that you do with yourself because it calms you down, it clears your mind, it moves your body. Okay. And I think the final angle you can look at when you talk about sports, the health, the relationship, the bonding, you can also, what do you think? What else do you think is a good way to uh, talk about this one? I would say for this case, sense of achievement. Sense of achievement can be you liked it because the the being able to go through training and compete, whether you win. Hello, Rifles, welcome to you. So sense of achievement is because if you want to focus on being able to do it, getting to do it every day as a habit, gives you that assurance that you are making progress on health, on on yourself, and so on. So these things are the different angles you can do. If I were to even make this even more personal, then we can go for letter E. That means to say personal experience. Then I would share something very specific about swimming. And I chose swimming most especially because I do have a proper experience about it. And so I then choosing that makes it easier for me to do it. Hello, Milo. So if I were to give a personal experience, I'm gonna bank on, I'm gonna go back to the three reasons I just gave, right? So I talked about it being good for my health, um, being good to bond with the team because if you compete in swimming, you also actually do swim with other people when you do relay, for example, and then a sense of achievement. Whenever you give a personal experience, I like to link the personal experience to the reasons I just previously gave, right? So I can perhaps say swimming has been an integral part of my life because I am an asthmatic person. Yeah, I can tell that. I can make it personal by saying I am actually asthmatic. And so sports like swimming actually does help in my lung health and in my endurance, in the way I control my breathing, so that it helps to keep my asthma um, in check, right? It helps to, over the years, it has helped me to not worsen my asthma anymore. I have reached a good level of stability such that I can still swim and compete despite my asthma condition. Okay, so I went on to do and focus on health and sense of achievement because I could still do it, and then I can go on and add that these things I managed to find friends in this sport. Okay, and of course do a proper link back. And so, given all those things, all in all, this is really the sport that I love the most. It's my favorite sport. Go back to the question, and that's it. Okay? You can even choose to end the question by linking back to the question and also linking back to do a summary. So I can say, overall, swimming is my favorite sport because of three basic reasons: health benefits, bonding I get with my team and with myself, and finally, the sense of achievement I get from that sport. Thank you. Like that. Okay? So we do it that way. Now, let's give another question a try. Welcome to those of you who are here, by the way. To those of you who are not aware, today I'm discussing oral questions, and I am basically zooming in on sports and recreation theme. Okay, let's brainstorm together so you know what angles can you use when you are facing these kinds of oral questions. Okay, everyone, let's try one more question. Let's see. What makes teamwork important? Okay, let's give this one a try, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there's many things that you can do here. Start thinking about activities, recreational activities, and sports that actually requires teamwork. What do you think are those? I actually mentioned one in the previous question. What activities or sports require teamwork that would make this question easier for you to describe? Angle. So let's define. Let's talk about your definition of teamwork, okay? So that we are clear with the angles that we are gonna explore. Now, teamwork involves collaboration. You work together, right, with other people. It involves other people because there's no teamwork if you are working on your own. It involves other people, and there has to be an activity that requires it. An activity. So there's an activity that you have to work with other people and you have to collaborate to make it successful. Okay, that's teamwork. What are the angles that you can explore for these things? Firstly, you can talk about sports. It could be other projects. That's fine, as long as it doesn't have to be sports, but it could be things or projects that you work in school, for example, that it required you to work with your classmates to get the job done. Okay, so sports projects, or let's say, but the projects can be home projects or can be school projects. So think about location. If, let's say, it's general, then you can actually, like, your parents gave you and your siblings something to do, something to accomplish. Let's say you were tasked to clean the house because they'll be away for some time and they need your help to lighten their load as parents. Okay, that activity required you to work with your siblings, so that one can work. Okay, projects, you can also look at schools. No, we had a project for this subject one time. We have to build something made of recycled material. So we tried to do it, of course, and so you had to work with friends. Okay, so that's another angle that you can do. So even with these two ideas, right, you can already start thinking of so many things. Now let's try to explore sports. Okay, sports, for example, can be team sports. For example, you can go for relay races. Now, it could also be like double matches. What sports explore double matches? Badminton can. Tennis also can, double matches on table tennis, right? Or basically team sports, like team sports. You have football, right? Basketball, volleyball. What else? Even dragon boat events, right? Dragon boat events, synchronized sports. Have you seen those videos on synchronized swimming? You cannot believe it. The training that these people had to go through together to make sure they're synchronized in that level is insane. Okay, and of course, captains leading the teams. You can also angle it that way. Captain leading teams. Yes. So this is the angle you can look at. And now let's talk about the benefits of teamwork because I think that is the very essence of this question. What makes teamwork important? Okay. So let's focus on, I'm going to change colors now and focus on the word important. Okay. So we have looked into, let me arrange this properly. So there is sports and there's also like tasks or projects that you can share, whether it's home or school or community. Okay, so those are the angles. Now, but what makes it important? That's the question. Let's discuss it here. So the question really basically wants to focus on you, making sure you understand the values that you get when you work with other people. Number one, the teamwork there actually strengthens your people skills. You learn to work with other people, and people have different personalities. When you expose yourselves to activities that require you to work with different personalities, that is a skill. That is a very good skill that you can have to eventually be able to lead groups of people, to lead teams, to become a leader when you grow up. So, number two, it also creates bonding, which in turn helps you in your health, overall health. Remember, you can focus on social health. And social health is also related to mental health. When you have very good relationships with people, you have very strong bond with people, you are generally happy as a human being. Okay? Now, and finally, what makes teamwork very important? It's because I think the sense of accomplishment is good as well because because you get to do things with other people, you get to achieve things with other people, it gives you pride. So it helps you to have very good memories with yourself and with other people as well. Okay, so that's one thing we can do for this question. Let's explore another one, everyone. Let's look, we already talked about, oh, let's this one, let's try this one. Now, anyone who wants to give this one a try, anyone who wants to give me at least one reason why should children try new sports? Anyone? Just one reason that you want to draw up. Is it important for children to try actually new sports, or is it not? Is there something good that children get from learning something new? To learn new skills. Hi, Floor. Welcome to you. Okay. Learn new skills. I will accept that. That is a perfect answer. We can dive a bit deeper into that because that's a very important thing to highlight. Because Flo, if I were to dive a bit deeper, what skills do you think new children get when they play new sports? Fundamental movement skills. So probably something 1 for 5. I like that you have now specified. You are now moving towards physical benefits. Okay, the physical benefit of learning new sports. Okay, movement skill. So I would see that as a branch out of this one. I will branch it out here. And probably something I would like to highlight as a very good answer. It's because most especially for children, it's very important that they move. Okay, because when they are in these young years, this is the time of their life that they get to build the foundation of literally everything. The foundation of their physical health, the foundation of how they build habits eventually, depending on what they're doing. So if they do sports, right, the training, the discipline it takes develops early on in them. and then the physical ability as well. When they learn to do these movements early on, it does help them eventually in their flexibility, in their endurance as they move up towards more challenging things to do as an adult. Okay, sedentary lifestyle is bad. Agree, right? And if you start children early, it does really help to shape how they choose to live their life when they grow up. Okay, so movement skills. There's one more: build strength and flexibility. Yes, so movement skill, we can branch it down to strength, flexibility. Now, everyone, I want to move away from physical benefits because we've covered. I like that. That's a very most obvious thing. Early childhood development. Good. We're getting there. There's another skill that I want to highlight. Instead of the physical, aside from the physical aspect of it, childhood development is also a very big umbrella, right? Okay. When, for example, children, let's say they go for sports that requires playing with other people. I'm pointing onto that first. Let's say early on, parents sign them up for very football class, okay, or for for example, like basketball lessons, okay, very good. Their people skills, interpersonal skills. They start to learn literally how to deal with other people, and they start to learn how to work with other people. They start to understand the concept of interdependence. Yeah, and the concept of being accountable with other people who's working with you, right? And it's a very important social skill. Like they're learning to develop their social skill as well. Even when like, oh, sure, but what if I sign up my child to like a non-teamwork sport? It's also fine because if they're starting to learn it, the person teaching them, that's another social skill they're trying to learn, right? Learning from someone. Okay, hello, JRMYCSW. Now somebody said something. Probably I will love to branch that out as well. You mentioned cognitive skill. Agree. Okay. Some people might go and say, "Hey, sure. Why do you say cognitive skill? Like how did they learn? How do they learn cognitive skills? They're just moving around. It's not like they're answering mathematical questions and so on." I would definitely say this. Movements like this, constant exercise via these sports, really, really has an byproduct. The byproduct of it is human beings being able to have those, when people exercise, they release this happy hormone. You release this hormone that makes you more energized to learn and more energized to move in your day. Okay. When you get that hormone out, especially in children, they are more likely to have that enthusiasm to learn or to do things even after their training or sports. Okay. And at the same time, team sports, even if you look at basketball, right? Every single sport has strategy. Okay. Every single sport will have a strategy. No matter how physical it can get, it will involve strategy. And so, sugar rush. I understand what you mean, but not really sugar rush because sugar rush is like after they take something with very high sugar. Yes. So, are you Japanese? Oh, hello, Muhammad Zamir. I am half Japanese, half Filipina. So, yeah, that's why the Japanese name. Okay. So, cognitive skill in terms of strategy. However, like no matter how physical the sport is or not, there is always strategy involved in it. So, it's a very good thing. It helps children learn to develop that skill of thinking on their feet and making decisions as they do things, right? It's very beautiful. Okay. So we have touched on cognitive, interpersonal, and physical benefits. You can always branch it out to a few more, okay? But these are the three pillars that I would like you to really explore. You can even branch it out to mental health. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can branch it out to mental health or all the other things, but these are three pillars that you can actually always try to explore, especially when they talk about learning something new, and especially when we talk about children. Because the main thing about the question is children, the importance of starting it early at that age, and then new sport. Mhm. The beautiful thing when they try something new, it helps to really develop their brain. And at that young age, children's brains are like sponges. No joke. When I say their brains are like sponges, they learn very quickly and they assimilate a lot of things very quickly. So it's a very good time to expose them to new things so they keep learning and they develop that um, resilience of always learning new things. Mhm. So, very good question, everyone. Thank you for your ideas, basically. So, something I always like to tell my students, especially when you talk about benefits, you can talk about levels: physical, mental, social, right? Physical, mental, social, and even cognitive skills would be mental skills, right? Social would be interpersonal skills. Physical would be physical skills. Okay. Benefits can also be individual, family, school, community, and even in country level. I like to also arrange it that way. So you start with, I start with myself. Importance is in myself, I develop this. So let's say taking care of the environment. How does it affect you personally? Or what can you do personally? And then go to a family level, go to community level, go to friends or school level, and then go to country level if you can. Okay, group it that way. Are you teaching primary or secondary? I'm currently actually exploring PSLE oral questions. So this one is primary, but because it's oral, I would say the skills are transferable to secondary students who are listening at the moment. Mhm. Now, let's explore another question, everyone, before I end the live session today. Let's see, which one do you want? I like this one. What recreational? No, 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 not that one. Let's try. I like this one. Sports challenges. Do you like the recreational one instead? Mm-hmm. Describe watching a live sports event. Oh, this one is nice. How do sports build character? I like this one so much. Let's give this one a try. Mm-hmm. How do you think sports build someone's character? Mm-hmm. Let's perhaps explore three areas that we can do. There is something. One thing I would like you to think about is what is common amongst very successful sports athletes. There is always something common. Physical and mental resilience. Wow, I like that. Let's put that in here. The resilience, sportsmanship. Although I would actually say some very famous sports enthusiasts do not have that, but we're talking about character, so I would say that is definitely a must when you talk about building character as a whole. Sportsmanship is important. Mhm. We talk about resilience, and then we talk about. I want to add one more thing. It's related to resilience. Okay, this one is very related to each other. I would like to talk about perseverance. Okay, let me point out the difference between the two, but I like these three pillars to actually help in talking about how important sports can be in building someone's character. I think the easy one, the good one to start is sportsmanship, which is basically, which covers a lot of things, but a lot of it is really towards the personality of the person, towards his teammates, how the person is able to show, build his relationship to himself and with all the people he's playing with. Sportsmanship, as in playing well with others, um, playing with integrity, mhm, playing with grace. So, graceful in defeat, humble in victory. I like that. I like to term it graceful in defeat, humble in victory. For me, that's a very huge sign of someone someone who's developed a very good sportsmanship skill for our sports. Resilience for me, I tell you something. Resilience for me is when you have you struggle, but you continue. Hold on now, not that one. Resilience for me is you fail, and then you continue trying. Resilience always have a connotation that something didn't work out the way you wanted it to, but that turned you into a much stronger person. So resilience is not like resilience is not a rubber band that when you stretch it, it goes back. No, I think resilience is when you undergo some level of difficulties and trials, and you become a better. It's not like you turn back to your old self after overcoming the struggle. It's like you have upgraded because of the trial and the struggle. It's like you upgraded and you become basically, it's like you evolve, Pokemons. I'm going to use Pokemons as an example. You undergo an evolution because of the struggles and the trials that you go through. That for me is resilience. It's not like you overcome something and you came back to who you were. No, I feel like every time you undergo struggles, when you're training, when you're losing, when you lose, when you face defeat, but you continue playing, you become a better version of yourself every single time. That for me is resilience. Okay. Perseverance is perseverance. So resilience have these elements of failure and trying, and then improving. You improve. For perseverance, you it has elements of difficulties and continuing even when you don't see the results yet. So the thing about perseverance is that this talks about someone's ability to continue even when the achievement that they want is really still far off. Because some people only want to do things that has immediate results. Like I go to the gym today, I want my muscles to grow tomorrow. That's the human nature. A lot of the people have that nature. Hello, Mariah Carey. So a lot of the people have that nature. But when you talk about perseverance, you talk about, athletes who practice day in and day out, whole many hours every single week that they achieve, even when it took them what, 1, 2, 3, or even 5 years to make it to the top, to get that gold medal, to be the number one athlete. So when you talk about resilience, you focus on failing, and because all of that failures, the athlete improved. And when you talk about perseverance, it's the athlete continuing, you doing sports, you continue. Even when it did not give you the immediate results that you need, you still moved on to continue. Okay? So talk about perseverance, talk about resilience, and then talk about sportsmanship. Sportsmanship in general, how the interpersonal skills focuses on interpersonal skills and integrity that you develop when you're doing sports. Okay? So these are the pillars that you can do for when you talk about sports or even recreation. You can, as long as it involves activities that has to work with other people, you can still use these 3 values. Okay? So yes, at least today we've managed to do about 3 or 4 questions for PSLE on the theme of, I think I can show you guys again. Today we discussed sports and recreation. I'm probably discussing another theme next week when I see you again. But of course, we still have a few more questions under sports and recreation, but let's try to cover as many themes as we can as we move along in preparation for your oral examinations. Secondary students are still welcome to join, by the way, because these evergreen themes can also appear in your O-level oral. Okay? Let's learn. Always expose yourself to the different angles you can talk about. It's hard to really talk about something unless you brainstorm it with someone else or with yourself. So it's good to look at how different questions can be answered differently depending on your preference and your own personal experiences. Okay? So everyone, Mariah Carey here, my ever so diligent timekeeper. Yes, so thank you so much for joining me today for the live. If you have not followed us yet, please do so. Let's do more live sessions together to improve our English skills. It doesn't matter if you're a student or not. It's good to continue improving a language that we always use every day. So, thank you so much today. I am teacher Mitsuko from Writers at Work. Writers at Work is an English enrichment center. We are currently running a 12 plus 2 promotion. So, if you sign up for our amazing regular programs to help you improve in English, primary 6 and O level students, if you sign up for 12 lessons, you get 2 lessons for free. That's actually over $400 of savings. Join us. We are happy to help you prepare strategically and effectively for your upcoming examinations. Thank you so much, everyone, and follow us and share the live next time. Thank you. Bye bye.